This video is brought to you by ncix.com. Great technology, selection, and service.
Hey guys, Ibra here with Hardware Canucks, and Tesoro is slowly starting to penetrate the North American market with their gaming peripherals. On the review table today is the Lobera Spectrum RGB mechanical keyboard, available in a variety of KL switches. But it has big shoes to fill at such a high price tag of $150. However, the Spectrum is one of the least expensive full backlit RGB keyboards. Taking a physical tour, the main shell is plastic with a fine brushed look, although at this price point I was expecting an aluminum frame. There are 4 screws that hold the chassis with the base, which gives the Spectrum a more decorative look. The wrist rest sports different textures altogether with that classic aluminum crisscross design. But I'd rather prefer something smoother for better comfort, as the angular design plus this rough texture isn't as comfortable as it should be. At the bottom, you'll find anti-skip pads and appropriate razors to adjust the height of the keyboard. I do have to mention that when the razors are completely low, the weight isn't balanced. When I start to type on the keyboard, the entire frame moves up and down, but this can be eliminated by raising up the keyboard. Part of the problem would be the shorter wrist rest, but for users with smaller hands, I doubt this would be an issue. The bottom of the keyboard is also prone to scratches, which may or may not concern most users, but personally at this price point, it is totally unacceptable. On the top right side of the keyboard is where you'll find 2 USB 2.0 ports, a DC input where users can charge their smartphones or tablets, and a separate headphone and microphone input. It's really strange to find a DC power in and zero information on how that's used. The 1.5mm braided cable is thick, and at the end you'll find 2 USB plugs with proper logo for easier differentiation, and the headphone/microphone jacks have to be plugged in to the rear I/O of your motherboard in order to utilize the audio pass-through of the keyboard. Unfortunately, there are no separate macro buttons on the keyboard. You can record macros on the fly by pressing the record button in the top right or through the driver software. But given the large footprint of the keyboard and even taking into account how well the competition implements separate macro zones for gamers to access, I would have preferred Tesoro go that route, as well as with a few dedicated keys. The main highlight of the Lobera Spectrum is the lighting system. First, with the edge lighting that in a proper color mesh environment will look awesome. Depending on the surface, the light will soften, creating a good focal point in your gaming setup. Second, the keys are individually backlit. You can customize the color of each key, and given the 5 profiles that you can switch on the fly, creating separate gaming and productivity lighting zones is a possibility. Plus, I love how the lighting peeks through the gaps, as one thing Tesoro made sure to do right is the brightness and vibrancy of these LEDs. The lighting quality just looks awesome. There are few special effects like trigger, ripple, firework, radiation, breathing, rainbow wave, and an audio mode that's supposed to activate the LEDs for each individual key to go along with the beats and a bass of your music. This mode only works when audio jacks are plugged into the source, and it looks very interesting. Certainly not for constant use, but interesting to see it react to audio elements inside a game, adding a little extra immersion. The weakest point of this product, and really all peripherals from Tesoro, is the driver software that is plain out terrible. First, the ugly interface with different tabs for various profiles and a non-identical physical layout of the keyboard. At the bottom left corner is where you can assign any key as a macro under the macro setting plus key assignment settings. One feature I like about the Spectrum is the ability to assign certain keys to launch programs. For example, I have F1 assigned to launch Adobe Edition CC. Under the illumination key, the color of any key can be customized to your preference. And finally, the lighting effects setting allows the user to select a variety of effects that I mentioned previously for the Spectrum. I've experienced a few crashes while tweaking the button layout, and that proved frustrating, having not saved any changes. A major issue I encountered with the Spectrum was every time I turn on my system, 12 keys light up and my system would not post. So I had to unplug the Spectrum for my PC to start up properly and then replug the Spectrum for use. Tesoro did roll out with a firmware update that's meant to fix this locking up issue. However, even after the update, we still encountered locked up keyboard after reboot. So I'm going to conclude this review by stating the lighting is done well and is the strongest element of the Lobera Spectrum. The physical design could see an update with smoother textures for wrist rest and perhaps a metal frame next time, as lack of proper weight distribution is a turnoff. And finally, the issue where the Spectrum won't allow the PC to post is just bizarre, and it's something we experienced on both of our review samples. At $150, this is not acceptable, and also until we see a proper redesign for the driver UI, the Lobera Spectrum will be difficult to recommend. So let us know what you think about the keyboard and whether or not you think this whole RGB trend will die off soon, or will evolve into something even more advanced. As always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more similar content, and we'll see you in the next one.